So it's more like they need help. Well, at least I'm taking it as they need help, as in a psychiatrist.
No, like they need saving help.
Oh, by the way, thanks for asking, Stephen. I haven't been completely forthcoming with what's going on. My dad's sister, the one that kind of ripped the family off long ago and has been basically a hermetic kind of a witch to them all, passed away last night.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And my dad's dealing with guilt because the last time he talked to her, he basically gave her grief for not going to the hospital like she should have and for not taking care of herself. And so he feels somewhat as if he's to blame for it, which is, of course, patently ridiculous because he was doing what he could to try to save her.
He gave her good advice.
Yeah.
You
So,
don't let things fester and go bad.
right. Well, yeah, she actually literally did. She had a leg that was so bad that people in the house next door could smell it.
Ugh.
Yeah. So, anyway,
I'm eating, by the way.
you're welcome. I could hear the crunching, so there's your revenge.
I'm glad you could tell him when he was eating, John.
Yeah, that somehow makes it a little bit more tasteful, I guess.
No, still tastes the same better.
But anyway, so
I rolled it.
okay, so go ahead.
Sorry,
That's
I
fine.
don't mean it.
Press on. The story must continue. Let's go.
I just
I
want
rolled
to
it.
make sure you're okay. You seem a bit like.
I look like I was looking down. Yeah, I'm just.
Yeah.
He's texting, and so I was just responding to his text. That's all.
Yeah,
I-
well, that too. Like you could see on your face that you were like frustrated and didn't know what you're doing, and it kind of looks bad on stream if you're doing that.
I'm sorry. I
It
won't do
doesn't
it
look
anymore.
bad at all. It looks human.
Well, no, I mean it make it look like you're mad at the players versus mad.
Oh, okay. Well, trust me, the players know when I'm mad at them.
Mhm.
Sure. Well, and I care about your
I
well-being.
don't
man.
think you ever have been mad at us.
Oh, he's been mad.
Oh yes, he has.
He's never been mad at me. Not in my life.
Wow. Wow. Go ahead and everybody make your deception test on that one. Because I think the insight roll will be able to overrun that. Holy moly. Okay. You rolled a 2.
Yep, it was the meta talk. Those of us that initiated the revening had the ignorant hope that breaking the iterations would fix the problem. We had no idea it was broken and had no idea that it would make things worse.
Okay. So, in order to get past the obvious question that's being begged here, just say that the revening, we had the ignorant hope that breaking the iteration would fix it. Period.
Okay.
Because that way there's always going to be that ambiguity about what you're talking about. It's more prophetic in nature than putting out the question that has to be
Answered.
answered before you can
Sure.
continue.
Well, it's just like the more that I as a player have seen the repercussions of it,
Uh-huh.
it very much is a problem.
Yeah,
It's
you know
very-
something?
Well, I'm not quite understanding. Is it the repeating of? So you say that the hitch in the giddy up, so to speak, is the contact between the others and somebody else?
Yes.
I
that
don't-
keeps occurring over and over again, and now that we've
Okay, so for clarification, Travis, what she's referring to is Ralgrim and she worried themselves all the way through all of the iterations to determine when humanity was contacted or when the surges occurred, and we're trying to figure out without having any access to the actual histories.
When
What-
that
which
happened.
made it
when
even
that
more
happened.
frustrating.
Right. So
Okay, I won't say anything.
it's fine. That's fine. Keep going. You got 2 more, right?
Did you want
Yeah.
to leave the ending part to that?
Yeah, just leave it fixed it. That's all I would do. That whole we had no idea is unless you're intending for the apology to be there.
Oh no, it was meant to be there.
Okay, so if it was meant to be there, I would start it off with we had no idea of the implications that initiated the revening.
Well, or she just said if we
Oh,
had
the
no idea, it would make
consequences.
things worse.
We had no idea about the consequences.
Okay, yeah, that works.
Consequences of the
The Revening.
of the wish that caused the
Well,
revenue.
it's just the Revening. It's just the Revening. It doesn't.
The
The
word
mechan-
consequences is the problem. The consequences are what's killing us right now.
Should I just
Wait a
read?
minute. Wasn't it revealed? Sorry,
Go
my
ahead.
brain's still stuck on the problem it's trying to solve.
Right. Go ahead.
Um,
Say it.
Well,
me?
yeah,
Yeah, 'cause you say that it's.
Well, I thought wasn't it discovered that Davros and Lorthal were on that contract in some fashion?
yes,
Yes.
both of them. And the Freak Dejanot.
So we know that Lorthal is from what, 7th?
7th.
He was.
My
we know-
iteration.
he
We
was-
know Davros is long before that.
He was under my wing. I was supposed to make sure that they didn't get into trouble, and they kept getting into trouble.
Davros as well?
I don't.
No,
remember
Lorthal and Shadow.
Yeah, Shadow and Lorthal. I don't know Davros. I know of him, and believe I've encountered him, but
He's
was-
he's the super devil that of Nycos. That
yeah.
the only devil that seems to be in a bunch of iterations all the time.
The only genuine external force.
But the fact that Lorthal was under my wing, and I had nothing to do to interfere with that.
Do you know something?
Well, I'm just trying to give you an answer to your question. You were trying to figure out who.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, it seems like Davros has probably had the hand in it and used Lorthal as the.
Willing.
And,
Patsy.
no, he was fully willing.
Matter of fact, like I said, he at level 1 started eating gold coins
Oh,
What?
yeah.
because he was trying to become a dragon. The old-fashioned way.
That's not an old. That's just insane way.
Well, that works too. He was rather close to insane. If you ever
Oh, he was,
When
he
you
was
are-
right up that alley.
when you get to actually read the book of Lorthal as he wrote it, it does read like the ravings of a madman because he'll write 2 or 3 dire, dangerous-sounding sentences and then say, "I wonder what chummy tastes like." You know, just okay. So
I know what
Like-
chummy tastes like.
So maybe we should go to the seventh
there's-
iteration and stop the damn revenue.
But the
The-
argument is that the 7th
No
iteration.
one has been there. No one has
We-
been able to go back
again,
to the 7th as
the
far
re-
as I know.
Why we will go against it is if we do that, what Subject did to save the humans would be for naught. He sacrificed himself in a Hail Mary so that way that humans could still live on because of the way the iterations work.
Maybe we just
But
remove
no,
the
weren't the
one.
humans being threatened by another person's wish?
Well,
Therefore,
the
if the
wish,
wishes
No,
didn't happen,
no,
they
the-
wouldn't be in danger.
No, it was more insidious than that. The overall master wish was to make Nycos back to where it was at the beginning. And
with
they
no
did
humans on it.
they didn't
Right.
know that part until literally they were in the middle of the beginning of the spell, and I let them
Again,
see
we
some.
didn't.
I let everybody have a vignette of how their wishes were progressing, and when he saw that his portion of that the portion of the wish that he was able to observe meant
In other
humanity was
words,
killed.
Miri wouldn't have been here.
Exactly.
Well, the fact of the matter is, to my understanding, sorry to put it that way,
Mhm.
but to my understanding, if the Revening is undone, then it turns all of 7th iteration back into heroes instead of villains. Because Subject would not have needed to sacrifice himself.
Right.
True. All right.
Well, also
Um,
the problem though is that the reason why you can't go back to the 7th is that arguably it never ended because their wish ended the iterations. Therefore, the 7th and the now are synonymous. There is no 7th to go back to. Because if you
Well, that
notice
sucks.
the storms only let you go backwards to specific
Oh,
points in time.
Come to think about it, didn't that day an elf say he came from the seventh and they were fighting?
Now somebody remembers what was said. Holy crap!
They were fighting the others in. They were fighting. the others in the 7th iteration.
You guys need to
Trying-
stop. We got to stop using these other talk because other is used all over the place for stuff, and it doesn't mean the same thing.
The
No, it's
Terrans
driving me
from
insane.
the extraterrestrials, the outsiders.
But the outsiders from iteration to iteration aren't always mortal. They're not always human.
Right, there's the Yarlum and the Ixal and the. I could do a rhyme.
Okay, so the humans. Whenever the humans first came, I don't know. Okay, I don't know when the humans first came
I
on
do.
this planet. Okay.
2nd iteration.
Yes, Hammerfall. But that's another character that knows that.
Second iteration was when the Yarlum came. Well, that is that the original time when humans came. I know the Yarlum came in second iteration, and they were overlords over the humans.
The human population that was available on Nycos actually spawned from the 5 members of the first iteration playing group.
Right.
Ming, Stardancer, and his crew were the first humans on the planet.
Okay.
And the challenge is that he's the marker.
Is that who the red cloaked guy is on the train?
Who Vince? Or the strange alien?
No, the strange human who's super ancient, over 4,000 years old, has the weird chopsticks and in the red robe.
I can't answer that directly as a yes, but I could probably say odds are against it. What is it? The 8-ball says.
Dragon later.
Sources say not. Sources say no, or sources say I can't remember. Anyway, yeah, it's
Anyway.
Signs point to no.
yeah. Signs point to no.
All right, there's 2 more. The Ixal attempted to invade us in a location. I couldn't remember on the top of my head. I thought it was Concordia.
It was Concordia, but at a specific place known as the Nexus.
Oh, okay.
Remember what you found under the ground there?
It's where the
Yes.
unicorn lips touch.
Yeah.
That's
Where the tongues
actually.
intersect.
Actually, yeah, no, it's actually more glib than that. It's actually the answer. The issue is that part was in my mind written when I watched Indiana Jones and the Ark of the Covenant one. No, not the Ark of the Covenant.
Anyway.
The
Last Crusade.
Lost Crusade. Yeah.
Anyway, the Ixal attempted to invade us in Concordia, the Nexus, using hymn and song to attempt to enchant anything and anyone against their path.
So now we know where the music came from.
Is that originally theirs?
Yes.
But didn't the Blinn use it in like iterations ago?
No, the Blinn. Well, okay. So therein lies the insidious nature of the bad guys. The Blinn didn't access it until after the Revening and before this campaign started. In that null space, the Blinn found and utilized the devices and the skills. And
So the devices came from 7, found their way back in time, and that's where the Blinn got it.
yes. Actually, no. The Blinn got it and then went backwards in time because one little son of a bitch in blue that this group let get away.
I wanted to murder her.
Him.
Oh, him. Okay.
Him.
I thought
Him.
we were thinking. Oh, sorry.
No. The one you what?
We can blame the 7th for a lot, can't we?
No, some you can actually blame on the now.
What?
Either way, it's not my fault. And that's all I can say.
Couldn't be my fault.
The only thing that I can get blamed for is Nyx, and I'm okay with that.
The what? Nobody remembers Nyx anymore. No, just kidding.
That's why I said Nyx. It means nothing, so it's just nix that.
Mhm.
I am the origin of that saying.
And then there's the last one, which is 4. There is another poem that shows the locations of where prisms are at this time.
But they can't see mine.
That was awesome because you realize the way you played that out actually makes that sound even more dire because it's the last piece. That's awesome.
Cool.
So where's this poem, huh?
She put it up in the Discovery.
No, I mean the poem that says where the prisms are.
Yeah, it's probably where the history is. Where
Have
there's
you
history,
guys?
there's
Oh, you
poems.
guys don't know about that.
Yeah, you may want to have that
know
meta
about that?
conversation. Yeah, because Miri.
Which one is the one that has the clue in it? If you take the first letter of one of them and it's Nyx. Nyx is where something is.
Yes, in the Valley of Nyx. Something like that.
No, I was thinking thing you probably wanted to talk to them about, because Allie wasn't there, but Jean was, when you talked about the nature of storms. You and
Oh, that they are the books.
Yeah.
And that by closing storms, you're burning the books, so you're basically Nazis.
right.
Yeah.
But
Well,
but
she's
Allie,
kind of-
Allie hadn't heard that part, so I was just talking about the fact that looking at the storms in that perspective, that all the written histories were
The trying to get rid of the iterations is literally trying to get rid of all of Nycos' past. You're attacking Nycos at its heart.
So we need to keep the storms open so we can go back and find things out.
Well, no, the issue is that the storms were formed. It's literally. I'm going to reveal one of my sources here. There's a place in Scripture that says if all of the followers of Christ fell mute before the power of the earth, the rocks themselves would cry out His majesty. So if you destroy the history and the written records that show how cool this ultimate story is, the storms themselves are the books. They are
The world coming through. The instances coming through.
right. That the history says no. We are here. We existed, and this is what was nifty about it.
So therefore, that means that the entire campaign is a red herring.
What?
Because therefore, there is no way to destroy the iterations, and there is no danger. Therefore, everything is a non-perceived.
No, there is an
danger.
outside force that is still working against Nycos.
What?
Miri is convinced of it. It is not what we think it is. It's something else that's trying to mess everything up.
Did you see what I mean, John?
Not the storm. There's an outside.
Well, it means that White Veil could never succeed.
Oh,
And
it
means
could.
that no matter purple.
What?
No,
Unless
actually,
they destroyed Nycos altogether.
well, that's exactly what White Veil wants.
Right. But
Anyway, I just meant that it's an interesting story. It's a point of conjecture that you made, and I thought it'd be nice for Allie to have that to work with as well, because it's something
Sure.
to chew on. That the storms are the literature.
Valera knows it now that storms are ways of going back in time and finding out things.
more importantly, it's to say that the storms are ways for time to come back and reach us.
Well, the knowledge of what happened then and how things work.
So that means I was right all along, God damn it!
What?
Everyone kept telling me to shut up about iterations, and everybody should be knowing. Everyone kept getting mad. That's the quote when he says "and when" in one of it, is because I kept asking when are we, when we would come back to the now, and no one knew what I was talking about, and it would cause storms. They supposed, and so that means everybody should know about the iterations, and we should be shouting it from the heavens. Then the storms will become ubiquitous, and they will spread across the land, and then nothing will cease to be.
Travis, your purple is showing.
Oh, sorry. That's why I kept talking. I was trying to make my face purple.
My cat has gotten very lovey. Of course, we won't allow him outside right now. And this is the second time ever in his life that he's jumped up on me while I'm sitting in the computer chair.
Well, I don't know if it's a trend, but I know somebody else who has a cat who also is doing the same thing. So I wonder if they're like sensing COVID.
Well, that's why we don't allow him outside.
Or is
In
it,
case,
or a loving cat? Is that like a sign of the apocalypse?
Sounds
No.
like it.
I think it's his stomach that's bothering him. I think it's empty in his words.
It's just gas. He's being nice. It's just gas.
Nice.
Okay, so what are we gonna do, guys? Are we gonna go up north?
Burn it to the ground.
No, we've got to find out what the enemy is, and then handle it and find people to help support us while we do it.
Well, you can count on me that I've got the south. If I get my fellstones placed, then everything will work out, I think.
Oh, there's a nice Azamar down there. Um, when you go through the gate. Oh, if you. Oh, darn it. Never mind.
Up north, I'm not really sure. I haven't heard tale much from north. But I feel in my bones that there's some heroes there. If you just reach out to them, I'm sure. Wherever there is gloom facing the world, heroes will rise up to save it. So if you can get there, I'm sure you'll find some heroes that are putting their full heart into the effort.
Thank you.
Well,
Thank you, by the way.
taking it-
Thank you, by the way, Omara, for putting that into the Discovery Channel, so that we have that to mess with.
Thank you very
Oh.
much.
Did you see how I wrote it in the top?
That was very well done. I like the.
I will,
I like
I will
the.
have to take that time to look at it.
Oh, she just put the name as The Quatre by Olma Sussex, featuring Umara Brightwood, as if it was dictated from the other side.
Uh-huh.
But what was the hint that I was thinking about where we unscrambled the letters to write Sylvan?
Iteration 2.
No, me and
Sylvan?
Ralgrim.
Okay.
What's his name? Bryce.
Bryce.
Me and Bryce were working together back in the day, and we uncoded Sylvan. And that something.
Oh,
was
so
about-
Sylphae, Sylphae.
Yeah, Sylphae.
Yeah. So let's see.
Which one?
Because what triggered it was the one from Initiatus. This is Welcome to Nycos. That one was the easy one. So it must have been Secundus. Let's go look.
Sylvan was the silver dragon. that the-
Cywin.
Cywin was the silver dragon that once the
Oh,
dwarf
I
said-
know very, very well about.
Just a moment. Once the dwarf said the message was lost, a human was supposed to get to her with a message, and it never got to her. Yeah,
Aye, that's because the humans were bastards who thought they could do it by themselves, didn't warn the dragons because they wanted to do it by themselves, and got royally screwed.
well,
That's why they had to get saved by the Pact instead of the dragons.
but Sylvan finally got the message.
Right.
Aye, you're welcome for that.
No,
Well,
not
you actually it's twofold.
Yes, it was me.
It's twofold. It's twofold.
It's
It's you and it's Teonamid.
Theonamid told her, and he's a human, and he was washed up on the beach, and he got sent somewhere in a storm, and he saw Sylvan.
Cywin.
Cywin.
In what
Cywin.
iteration did he meet her?
I think it was second. Weren't we in second? Yeah.
No.
When we
No. He was hit by one of your little dearly unvaunted time bombs, and he went by himself.
Yeah, I know. It wasn't us. It was just him.
Right.
Well, I
and
went
what I'm
back
getting at
to
is
right at the end of 5, and I'm the one that told her, and that there was a human in the group with us. I don't remember what his name was.
it was
but,
what's his name's Hunter.
Okay,
It's
what,
Clark.
what,
It's Clark.
what
he's
iteration
a
did he
dwarf.
go to, though? We don't know what iteration he
Yeah.
landed in
Yeah.
to talk to her?
Yeah, you don't know. The issue, the funny part though, is that you guys are talking about two different instances of saving Cywin.
Aye.
Because he did it before the third iteration change, and that Travis's involvement was prior to the third iteration change, and Unama did it
You
the
saying someone undid what I did?
well, just adjusted it a little.
Okay. Well, I'm currently raising the next one, so I call dibs.
Well, no,
Ain't no one
that's
taking that one from me.
except that's the one I'm referring to.
What?
He talked to Snowland, who said she was Cywin.
Well, that's some bullshit. She knew what she was supposed to do.
Well, she was surprised by him asking about Cywin.
Hmm.
Anyway, it was a enigmatic little talk because he didn't even realize what he was saying. She was kind of leading the witness because remember,
She
Cywin's
said, "Have they?" Yeah, she said, "Have they come?" And I said, "Yes, they're here." The others we're talking about.
well, no, that's not what she was talking about. But he thought that's what she was talking about.
Yeah.
She's talking about whatever happens next.
By the way, Fiverr wrote all this down.
Nice.
If not, you can rewatch the
The stream.
stream.
So yeah, Sylphe was in there somewhere. So that was told to us that it means something about going back and reconnecting Nyx. I don't know if that's still a thing or not. I can't seem to remember where it was.
I know where it is. Or was.
You know where Sylphe is?
No, I know where Nyx was because I come from there. I have a character that comes from there.
I have two characters that blew it up. But we gotta figure out. I've actually seen what Nyx used to be, and it's terrifying. Well, that's what makes me question. What are you saying that the prisms aren't of Nycos?
I was told by Lorathil, the Vex Lorathil, that the prisms aren't of Nycos.
Now this is a completely in meta because the character who knows this cannot tell you. I cannot tell you.
No,
Blair
I'm
cannot
telling
tell
you that we met with a
Being.
conglomerate of intelligent Vex that took the shape of Lorathil, and it took the shape of several other people. And he said most distinctly, I said, well, we could do the prisms, or we could go up north, or we could go down south, but we don't know what to do. He said, first of all, read Secundus and Tertius and do some research. And then he said, the prisms are not of Nycos.
Who told you this?
The Vex.
The Vex.
The Vex itself, it made an entire entity because it was a high concentration of Vex.
Here's the other thing. Another reason why in meta that I can somewhat prove that the gods are lies. Valara's deities. Annika, the husband, or sorry,
The wife.
Annika, the wife of Afrit de Janah. Afrit de Janah is not a god. Afrit de Janah is a voice that comes over the radio when you use ancient Terran technology. So that is a
Mary knows about
acclamation.
that. She talked to Afrit de Janah.
Yes.
She talked on the phone, but they didn't want to talk to me because
I'm talking to Jean.
Yeah, they didn't want to talk to me. Yeah.
That's proof for you that the gods aren't necessarily what they say they are, because
That's
that is a bunch of Vex that has taken that name and formed it into a personage.
Just about.
Unless I'm mistaken,
Um,
which I often am.
even Annika is not a god. Anika is not a god. She was a Terran, from what I understand. And Afrit de Janah,
So
No.
is
to her,
Mariah.
is
No,
an outsider.
she's not. She was not Terran.
She's not Terran.
Annika was not Terran.
Mariah is.
Mariah was a Terran. Kathleen Armstrong.
Yes.
So why is Vex taking these names and
Well, because they could talk to us in a humanoid form.
And if you think about it, it took images from their memories. things that they'd
Right.
run into before.
So what I'm trying to say is that they're clearly not of actual personage deity, and that's why maybe the Bible kills them.
But I have been to Elysium and I've seen the gods.
That's not the ones that have to worry about the Bible. Anyways, what I was going to say about the prism is that
But I can't remember that. I read the whole thing.
when you go to Nyx, before it was Nyx, the entire place is a valley made out of prism.
Oh, she's saying that Mary can't remember that. Not that Jean
The
can.
Bible.
I know, I'm going back to the conversation that I was trying to
Oh.
say
He's also
5
speaking.
minutes ago.
Remember, he's also still mostly in meta. So
All of this is in meta. None of this can be said by Valere.
right.
Okay.
I was just trying to get Jean to have more info because she's the one that interacts and sometimes trusts the Vex gods. The vexing gods.
Well, she's not so sure. The problem is still with Anika. Is she's been cut off from Nadroma.
I know, I'm talking about you, the person, not your characters.
Okay. But
Anyways, but about the prisms not being of Nycos, you should question that because when I saw Nyx, before Nyx was built on it, it was an entire valley made out of the same stuff of the prisms.
yes, but it took what 6 prisms, specific prisms, to make beauty. Well, beauty is one of them, but to make the whole, and that all the prisms are part of the whole.
I'm talking about an entire previously forested valley that's
Yeah.
completely glassed over with black clearness filled for as far as the eye can see downwards into the earth of Nycos with prisms of all the colors.
So the
So
the poem you were looking for, the portion is in Second Prophecy. The first is in the Spider's Web, but not in Cattle's Milk. Also in Seas, not Ocean, Creek, River, or their ilk. The second is in Days and Years, but not in Months or Eras. In Bays and Eddies, also found, but not in Fears or Terrors.
Yes, that one.
That's it. That's where you get Sophie.
Okay.
It's saying that
The last begins the end, though at the finish none, but in ending and beginning they have exactly one.
One what?
That's where it ends. Exactly one. It means that they have both a beginning and an end, and it ends in the same place, meaning a cycle.
Yeah, you would think so.
Also, Nyx is also the site of the first landing. Am I wrong?
you are correct. And also the third landing. I think that information they actually have. Don't you have that, Allie?
The Nyx is Nyx is the first landing. Yeah.
About all 6 of them. You have all of the... Because that was where... That's... Okay, so just for clarification, that bit about seeing the problem of Nycos and everything, that was actually... That's a derivative work, because that's Umara dealing with what she's finding out about her ancestor. Because you were trying to come up with a rational explanation for why you guys did what you did, when there really isn't one. You were emotionally responding to the stimuluses that were being handed to you as experience. And so you as Umara are trying to explain to the world why Olma did what she did.
Uh-huh.
And that's where that concept that there was a flaw in the system that it needs to be worked out comes from.
Exactly.
So I'm just
Out of meta?
Yeah.
Is Peter
Because-
Cottontail around?
Now Peter's at the front. Remember, he went down with the lead detachment to check out the positioning
Okay.
of the Draconians.
You may want to check on anybody in your household, make sure they're not poking their eyes out on any of this Morgul shite that's everywhere now.
We're going to have to collect that carefully and pack it away and just say, don't touch it for now.
Likely, hopefully, anyways, it'll go away when I poof back. Whenever that happens, should be happening any time now.
Yeah, you got another 20 minutes.
If you don't mind coming to me with my temple, Umara, if you'd like to join us too, I can give you that one
Sure.
use
Sure.
gate
Sure.
transport.
Also, meta, I don't know if you guys realize, but a lot of instances people have said that the seventh iteration was stupid. I was also part of that, and it kind of hurts.
Well,
I wouldn't. Okay, first of all, I wouldn't take anything that says that the iteration was stupid to heart, because A, they weren't there to experience it, and you guys did a hell of a job. I mean, given the short framework that you worked in, you pulled off miracles in 2 years that took other groups 6 years.
Right.
Mhm.
Well, that's all in character. Them looking back at the people who are being framed as changing the world to
Yeah,
nightmarish.
just realized that yeah, exactly what he just said. The way he worded it was exactly right. The seventh iteration is taking the heat for somebody who's blaming them. And
Right.
so the deeper answer is, why would somebody want the written records destroyed and let you guys do that so you would take the heat?
That's also why I said that if we find a way to go to seventh and stop the revening from happening, then they would go back to being known as the heroes of the iteration, as they should be. And zero would not have had to. I mean,
No,
216.
216.
subject would not have
Subject.
to be sacrificed.
Right.
That's what I said. So me as a person completely understands. So I'm not meaning to offend. I apologize if that was how it came across.
No, I think she's just speaking of the
As a
history.
generality, just like every other episode, like there's been some like nod at seventh, and it's kind of just like Alma feeling the heat.
Well, they're being framed as the bad guys, and
Yeah,
not easily to get away from
the,
it.
the fact that it's putting some heat on Olma should be pissing off Umara to where Umara is going to do something to fix it.
Also in meta, I
Not
just
not
like
to
to say
not to
it would
fix.
be really nice if you guys who have the ability to do a lot would stop staying in the same place.
we don't stay in the same place.
Well,
You have.
we've been stalemating at Bridgeton, but we're kind of sitting on our hands because we're trying to fix the government.
Okay, so Umara, I speak to Umara as a character. What happened the last time your group got stagnant? You ended up spending 16 weeks running around checking out the toilets of Nycos. I mean, the toilets of Cauldron. Don't you remember?
Oh yeah.
Because all you guys would do is go on an adventure and then you get gun shy and back off. It wasn't until somebody stepped forward, which I think it was between Rosama and Musk, that said, "Okay, we're actually going to stop watching the puzzles and we're going to we're going to find the answers to the puzzles."
Well,
Also, if I may,
also, if I go to seventh iteration, and I see Alma, I'm disappear.
No, that's not true.
That's what you said.
Who said?
You said that we'll become one.
Who said? Hmm. Well, no.
John.
No, hang on a second. That was before you disavowed her.
Oh shit, that's right. I have a loophole.
You disavowed her?
Yeah, because she was leaning heavily on her past, and I warned her that as long as she kept doing that, if she ever ran into her old self, she would lose herself. Umara would just fall into the personality of Olma and never come back.
Ah,
But finally, I pushed Umara to make a decision whether she was Umara or Olma, and she chose. So now she can't fall back into herself because she's not her anymore.
if I
ah.
may, trying to keep in mind the bigger picture, you guys are the strongest beings on the world right now in terms of players, and the government that you're trying to fix is a red herring in a way, because if you fix the world, then the problems that are causing the political strife may not be problems anymore. Like
Yeah,
it
but
said in the
Well, that's
Tertius, it says the wars will end regardless. Where did it say?
that
yeah,
little factor is exactly why Laura's been completely against going. Now that it's not an issue anymore, I can just say fuck it.
So
The
and
now,
we
wars won't last forever. The others won't endeavor to rectify the weather. So that means that both the wars and the others may or may not be
well, there's
they're
just the others aren't
symptoms of the sickness, not the sickness itself.
right. The others aren't here to put out the storms, is what that fundamentally says.
yeah. Oh, see, I always told you that I really wanted to go back to the seventh iteration and stop the wish.
Well, I think you have stuff to do in the third iteration as well.
Yeah, you guys did something in the third iteration that changed stuff. Namely,
Mm.
namely, you lost one of the shards.
Namely, it was robbed.
Yeah, it was stolen.
Yeah, it was
It was
stolen.
stolen. But you arguably you shouldn't have been back there manipulating things anyway.
It was an accident. It was when the Mark II blew up, and we were in a storm. We tried walking out, but we
You
got
were
caught.
you were in a storm because you blew up the Mark II.
Well, not us, but King Kush.
Well,
He went.
technically, I
Yeah.
gave him the idea.
And so we
Say
were
that
there
say it
by
again.
accident.
Say that again, Allie.
I kind of gave him the idea because it seemed like a good idea at the time, and I didn't know the consequences.
Oh, to blow up the Mark II? It wasn't that he blew it up. It was the way he blew it up.
He entered it in a gaseous form, and then he apparently solidified or something. And I just went whoosh.
No,
Well,
he used the art. He used the artifact.
Oh,
He pulled out the shard while inside of a vessel that's made of stuff to protect itself from it. But it's
Yeah.
only protection from the outside, so he
I did
imploded it.
kill him.
No, but he changed the face of the war.
hey John, I have a question.
Uh-huh.
Just to see if I get more information to these guys.
Sure.
Would it be wrong to say that the necklace that I have that protects me from divining about me or scrying,
Mm-hmm.
would it be safe to say that it gives me a warning when someone tries? So that I would be aware that someone's trying to watch their hideout, so I could warn them to or remind them to look into it.
I would say that since Miri's now doing her own books of spells, and she's wanting to find out what's going on in these other iterations, because she made the trip to go to Selk and everything, that she might be able to cast an enchantment on it or something to get that kind of an effect.
Yeah, I could do magic.
I don't really need it. For me personally, I don't need to know if someone's watching me or anything. I was just trying to find a reason for me to know that they're being watched, so I could let them know.
We already knew that.
Oh, okay. No. I see what you're saying. Yeah, you would see. Once again, tell me what you're looking for. Yeah, you knew that when you walked in the house that you walked through a scrying field.
Right. I just wanted to find a way to let them know that they're being watched and watch their back, or
Well,
maybe that's a
yeah. So if you do tell them, they will acknowledge that they know it. Because they did
Okay.
find that on the front door and decided it was better to leave it there than to cause up a hornet's nest of the bad guys trying to infiltrate or something.
Yeah, because we're in Omara's family home.
So they make a big deal of like walking out saying they're on their way to the grocery store and then go anywhere but the grocery store, that kind of thing.
well. I've been here for a while now, so it's been blacked out. So you might have a visitor soon about it.
Yeah, well, we could go to the temple and I have a secure room.
Well, no, I'm not saying that. He's makes it secure because where he is, that charm protects him from
Yeah,
scrying. So.
But I could make sure that everybody's protected in my own quarters, which I have to grant permission for anybody to go into.
Right.
What I'm saying is that people are watching your house, and then it suddenly all goes black. They may get suspicious or interested in why that happened, and then you might find out who was doing it or something.
Maybe we ought to put some of the leporines out there to see what they can spot anybody coming in. Or maybe your family could keep a wary eye out if they go out and see
Well,
anybody hanging around.
Valer, just because we're running out of time, and Valer
Yep.
will go back in.
All right.
Is there anything that you need from me? Anything that you could give me in sort of advice spectrum?
Don't eat Vex.
I wasn't planning to. I did find a lake of it. Well, an
Where?
ocean of it. Ugh, I can't believe I said that word. Um,
Mhm.
Underneath Neomoria, being hidden and manipulated and abused by a zero tree fallen of the tree fallen people.
Tieflin?
Tree fallen.
Your
T R
accent.
E E F A L L E N.
Tree fallen.
Who are they?
They are an ancient Eldrin family from Nyx.
And do they have Vex or Limb?
Yes.
Both?
What's the difference?
He doesn't know the
What?
difference. There you go.
Oh,
There's something
right.
you can.
I got.
Now you can
Okay.
share.
There we go.
I can
Okay.
share. Vex is free magic. Limb has been formed to do something, and then it is forced to forget what it's been told that it is to do. They force it to forget, so it's an enslaved. Vex is free.
Okay, just a
You
quick.
can,
Who told you this?
we talk to them,
Who?
because that's how we made the magic. All the other times we had to use 4 pieces. We had to use the funnel, the
You're not
collector.
giving me actual context. You're just giving me a lot of facts.
Okay, who told us? We figured it out. The Alacaster, the relic that
They summoned magic, and utilizing the device that they have, when they summoned.
Hello? I'm back.
Okay, when they summoned the magical energy the first time, it didn't stick around. It laughed at them and left.
Mm-hmm.
So they decided they needed to find a way to control it. So they added another piece to their equation and created a lake, a little pool that stuck around, that followed the rules of gravity and didn't vanish. And it would give them answers to questions, but it was very matter of fact and always gave
Minimal.
technically accurate answers, but there was like no didn't sound right.
Context or-
Right,
there were
right.
minimal answers.
Then the third time when they summoned it, it was so pissed off that it actually attacked them, and then the final version was a small cubicle thing that became like animal shapes and stuff like that, and they decided they would put enough together so they could actually try to talk to it, and when they did, it manifested as a person. And then they had that manifestation took on several forms, try to ease their minds and make them feel comfortable with it. And then it explained that it was Lim in its pure form, and that Vex was a corruption thereof. And Vex,
No,
I'm sorry, Vex is the liberated form,
Is-
and the Lim was the captured,
Corrupted, the captured,
corrupted
and
version.
and
Now, what was Damon's scar? That was before Lim, correct?
Daemonarch.
Daemonarch.
That's the
Daemonarch.
first iteration
Right.
name for it.
Yes.
But now Vex, all you need is 2 stages of the magic. I mean the
This information now is coming from not that form.
no, but our experimentation, and from Lorithil, he said all you need is the first 2, which is the collector and the
A bad
Oh.
guy.
no, not the real Lorithil, the Vex Lorithil.
A bad
He,
guy.
No,
the Vex manifested itself into the being which you know as the bad guy, but not the actual bad guy.
No,
Okay.
but his point,
actually,
just guys, I think what Travis is wanting you to notice is that the form it took has a questionable past. But it immediately said, of course, this is the best form to make.
Yeah,
Hmm.
for the amount that he was, I guess.
No, I wanted to pop him like toothpaste.
Um.
Well,
Anyway,
my
so
to sum it up, my belief is that possibly. Now, I haven't messed with Lim or Vex much, but I know that when Vex takes on a personality, they manipulate and they're kind of like fey folk. They do things that they don't really care about the consequences for others. I don't know. But
but
I
we're talking
question.
about smaller quantities. And what you do is you persuade the stuff that wants to do what you would like to the item that you have created.
Well, I'm not looking to do that.
Right.
I don't believe in doing that.
Okay, but some of them do it willingly.
I'm sure they do, but they probably have their own reasons to it, and you can't trust what it's going to do because it's not you doing it, it's somebody else doing it for you.
But you did also ask what's the difference between
It's just,
Lim
yeah.
and Vex.
So just clarifying that the source that they have was the limb itself, the Vex itself.
Yeah,
Okay.
not them.
Well, I I'm not really sure which one's first because any consciousness is going to say that the other is the false one, or
Well,
I don't know. I would need to know more about it.
from simple experimentation, what happens is, well, the Eldrin told us. In fact, it was the Eldrin that told us. Yeah,
Primus.
it was the day and L that told us about magic. Remember, he
Oh, that's
stayed
right.
around long enough to show us how to do magic, and he says, you know, you can coerce it. The way we've been doing it is coercing it and making it limb, but after a while, it fights back, and then it doesn't do what it's supposed to do.
Hmm.
Do you also
But
know where a lot of Lim came from back, at least in second iteration? Because I can give you this bit. They used to produce huge quantities of it by mashing up dragon eggs.
Well, yeah, they sucked it up from dragons and dragon eggs. They would kill the dragons to and throw them into um not the not the engines but the reverse engine and extract it, and then that's how they would get Lim.
Right, so that didn't have a consciousness as far as I know, so that's probably the pure stuff. They called that Lim. I don't know.
it wasn't limb though. Anytime they forced it through a four-stage machine, it's
They
limb.
didn't. They were just straight up mashing up dragon eggs.
They're literally creating the liquid pools. The whole
Oh,
whole gravitational reverse gravitational thing is the kind of the point that Travis was trying to make, is that is it natural form that follows the laws of nature, or is it the natural form that ignores the laws of nature?
Well, how is it natural to begin with if man is getting its hands on it?
Right.
What?
I'm saying is that like they're mashing up Lim and putting it into something. How is that
Right, that's
natural?
probably not natural. Well, it doesn't really matter. Natural is subjective, anyways. It doesn't necessarily mean better.
Well, I'm
Um,
not saying that either. I'm just
I
saying
just know that
natural versus unnatural.
what I'm trying to say is I know that Lim comes from Nimbus, so do dragons, and a lot of Lim that is here on Nycos came from dragons.
we have differentiated though Vex from limb, but there was a change when the iteration changed. We came back and everything was being called Vex instead of limb.
The
That's why
the,
I'm questioning
the
it.
others have always been against dragons.
Well, that's why they
This
would say that the Vex, the one that is manipulated or becomes sentient, would be the one that's pure and good and better.
Fun, fun, fun. Well, his time is about to be gone, so
Ha 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 ha.
one more question each, and then you're going to lose your
You really
dragonborn
don't
friend.
want to know how to do magic?
No.
He really doesn't. He really doesn't.
There's truer and better forms to do it.
Which it sounds like he's alluding to the academy.
Did you go to the academy?
No.
Florin
You've
had
asked
an
more than 2
academy.
questions. You're done.
You're done, son.
Allie, one more
Did you
question.
go to the academy?
Nice. That'll be what's last in your memories. They insisted on asking you about the academy.
I don't
Poof.
know what the hell academy you're
I don't know what
talking
that. He's gone.
Damn it.
Jackson's
Oh.
there. He should get a question.
Jackson's got. Yeah, Jackson, ask a question. Any question you want.
Of the dragon. Born.
2 words. No at the end.
What, what question should I ask?
You're
Any
sure?
question you want of
The-
the dragonborn.
You're talking to a dragonborn that's from another place and is drawn here by random magic and is leaving by random magic, and so you get to ask one question.
Jonathan, I've been gone for a bit.
I know.
What did I miss?
So much that I can't tell you. What you'll have to watch the stream to catch up.
Just a lot of discussion.
Just
about
a lot of talk
stuff.
about magic, the nature
Point
of
is,
magic.
there's a time-traveling dragon in front of you who is a good guy and trying to save the world and trying to help you. So if you have any questions that are curious about dragons or so forth. And do I get a last question?
Yeah, of course.
I don't think I have any question.
Okay.
I'm gonna do a John, and whenever I'm supposed to ask a question in the middle of a game, I'm just gonna accidentally do a statement.
Oh, you are a jerk. Nice. I'll give you the BP for that.
Nice.
You outthought me on that one, and I would have to say that based on that, you like Ali before you have qualified as a second level player with that. You got one past me. That's pretty good. Go.
I thought I was
Okay.
3rd level now.
My point
Yeah,
is,
but you're third now, so
Oh,
I
yeah.
would greatly appreciate. Well, I'll do this in character.
okay.
I would greatly appreciate it. My whole sole purpose in being is to facilitate the heroic return of dragons in their true form and their benevolence to come back onto Nycos, to help us, to love with us, to be with us. If you see a prismatic dragon, treat it kindly, talk to it, love it. If you see a fecked up, multi-armed, bug-eyed freak, be kind to it. But no, it's not supposed to be here, and kick it back in time if you can. Just try to be good to him, and aye,
Oh, did you know that dragons didn't have colors before?
look at me. I don't have colors. I am all the colors.
No, like
You're
0
like a
color.
prism.
I am in a form similar to that of the natural state of dragons on Nimbus.
I'd love to see one. I really would.
Mhm.
Well, if you come find me, you can see my daughter. She's one.
Where do you live?
And he vanishes.
I live-
He vanishes.
Oh,
Snowy is one. Just
Alrighty, it is 9:47. Thanks for playing. That was a fun conversation. I know we didn't do a lot of huge adventuring, but then again, we were down 2 of the players, so it still went pretty good, I think, as far as getting new information out there. Thanks to our stenographers. Fiverr did a fine job of writing those notes into the file. You guys have a great evening. I'm gonna get out of here. Go try to take a nap.
Alright, good night, John.
okay.
Yep. See you guys.
see you tomorrow.
I'll leave the room open if you guys want to talk even more, because I know how that goes.
I'm gonna get
Sure.
going.
All right.
Are ya?
See ya.
Yep.
Okay.
Bye, guys.
I'm
See
here.
ya.
As soon as
Bye-bye.
I
So,
figure
you guys
out
gonna
how
be here
to.
tomorrow?
Of
Yeah,
course,
we
there's
got-
something tomorrow.
Everything. There's always.
All right,
Always
then.
something. 1 o'clock tomorrow.
Though you might get eaten
Alright.
by a zombie tomorrow.
Do do
Oh,
do do
yeah.
do. You're in the mall. Do 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 do
Oh
do
right, I
do.
forgot about that.
Yeah.
You should join
The
us in the
peekaboo.
mall.
Peekaboo's having fun. I like her. She's funny.
It's exactly why I built her. She's meant
All
to
right.
be.
Bye then.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
All right.
See you.
Alright,
Yeah,
good
and,
night.
and we got a hint about the clown. You're not gonna like it.
Oh no. Alright, I'm gonna leave before
He's
I
not
find
a zombie
anything
and
out.
he's not a robot.
That's the good news.
Okay,
That's
that's
not
the
the
good
good
one.
news.
I'm gonna leave it to that. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Well, I hope I didn't throw too many wrenches in, John. I tried to help.